Hey, it's me again. Okay, so I forgot that I was going to tell this story about what happened yesterday. Um, so I've been doing these studies. I did a sleep study, and when I filled out the form, I think it asked my sex, and I put male, and that was maybe about a month ago. So yesterday I had to go in for an overnight visit, and Um, so I got there, and a different guy was there than the person that I had before, and I had to fill out another registration form. But before I filled out the form, um, I was given a description of what would happen during the study, and it was talking about what would be put on my body, like two straps around, one strap around my chest and one strap around my stomach to measure my breathing, like this thing on my finger, and like tubes in my nose, and um, like electrodes for my scalp, and things by my eyes, and what else did I have under my chin, and I had to have two electro pads for um, for EKGs on my chest. Okay, so I just read this information, and I didn't know exactly where on my chest these things would be placed. So I was feeling a little. I wasn't like anxious, like anxiety anxious, but I was anxious, like, you know, what's gonna happen? Where are they gonna go? Like, what do I need? Will I be needing to have my shirt off? So, I was given a form. I read through that, and I was given a registration form for that night, and the part, asking like my name and the date and all that stuff, and um, then it said sex. So I debated whether to like what to do, because I had been in another study, and I fill out male for that study, and it is for ADHD. So um, they actually said that I had to be considered female for the study. So um, they call me male and use male pronouns, but when they do all the stuff, like I also have to have on electropads for that, and like more doctor type people, not psychologist people, more medical people, apply those to my chest, um, and they have to input my information into machines and stuff, and so they have to consider me female for that. Oh, and I have to take to give urine samples for a pregnancy test. Um, so all that, by that I'm considered a female medically and physically in the study, but um, to my face I am called male. So um, yeah, so when I was doing this, that's for the other study. When I was doing this sleep study, I wasn't sure what was gonna happen, and um, I just left the sex blank, because I didn't want them to be expecting a male body when they put these electropads on and see a female body. I didn't want to, like, I didn't want to, yeah, I didn't want to have that. So I left it blank. Then I handed it over to the researcher, and he sat and he, like, skimmed over what I said, and he saw that I left it blank, and his pen is like sitting there like, and I saw him like thinking in his mind like what to do, like whether to ask me or whether to, and his pen was like about to fill something in, But then he decided not to. He's like, but I saw his pen like hesitating, and then him deciding not to fill in sex for me, which I really liked. So, um, I really appreciated that. And he also didn't ask me anything. So there was that part, but I was still a little bit uh, wondering what would happen later that night when they go to put these things on me. So, um, what actually ended up happening was I had I don't use a binder, but I have like Under Armour shirt, and I was wearing like a couple no sleeve shirts, and a long john shirt that is, I thought it was like fitting to my body, but maybe it wasn't actually. And maybe like with the bulkiness of my shoulders, my chest looks maybe more masculine proportionate than feminine. So I'm like sitting there, like sitting like this, and they had to put the strap here, and then they put another strap around me here, and then they like plugged all this stuff into my face and on my hair and everything. And there was two people, um, two different people than people I had met before. And I was thinking to myself, I was like texting my friends, and I was like, so I filled out no sex for this study, and I wonder like what's gonna happen when they go to put these things on my chest. Because when I have to get the electro pads for the ADHD study, I have to get them like, I just take my shirt off, and I have them. I have like, there's like six, like here, 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 here. I don't know. They're and here. They're like all over. Um, so I said to my friends, I was like, well, they're just gonna be expecting a male chest, and if they, if if I take my shirt off and they ask me like why I have breasts, I'll just be like, I'll just say, I don't know how they got there. What are you talking about? So that was my that was my plan. So actually, nothing really happened. I talked to another guy who did a sleep study, and he said that he just told him he had a birth defect. Um, but actually, the electropads only went like right up here, so it wasn't really anything to be worried about. But even though, I mean, I'm pretty sure I am really small, and I don't have much facial hair or anything, and my voice is kind of like, I'm kind of really adolescent. But I mean, when I encounter people on the street, they just assume I'm little. But then they know my age in this study. They know that I'm 26. So um, I think I don't know. I don't know if they realized. I don't know if they thought maybe I was naturally intersex, or if they did not notice at all, or or if they had discussed it privately. But whatever the situation was, I think for five, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I met up. I came in contact with 5 or 6 people from their staff, and no, it was really a really pleasant experience. Like no one. I didn't have any um, moments of feeling like they were talking about me behind my back, or um, like there was no like confrontation about my gender. There was no confusion about it to my face, and there wasn't any indication that that their staff had talked about it. So I really like that experience. And I also wanted to, like, on that note, I wanted to say that um, well, when I first went to do the ADHD study, um, I mean, that was the first study that I participated in, and I did that one for financial reasons, and I just kind of assumed that maybe they had come into contact with trans people before, because um, I don't know, I think of trans people as people who need money and are often unemployed. And I mean, the study that I did, like, you have to be there for like 6 hours during the daytime. So I mean, and because of my part-time employment, that's what I did. I was like, I need money, and I'm available, so I will sign up for this study. And I mean, really, I really assumed that they came in contact with trans people before, but I don't think that was the case at the at that clinic that I went to. Um, so there's I think there's not enough exposure to trans people in medical situations, especially in studies. Because I know I used to study psychology, and it's when you input something in, like when you measure the statistics, like there's column one or column two, and people have to fit in column one male or column two female, and they don't. There's no really good way to measure the gray space between one or two things. So, I mean, obviously there's some sort of not confusion, but it's like hesitation at least on what to do. So I'll make another video about that. But that was my experience at the sleep clinic.